See this question is given in GATE 2014. Not all that glitters is gold. So it is a saying, right? It is, which means glitters means shines. If a metal is shining, it does not mean that it is gold. Every metal that shines is not gold. That is the meaning of it. Now there are two ways to answer this question. I'll explain you both the ways. If you observe it, if you clearly observe it, it is containing not all that glitters is gold, which means all that glitters is gold is one statement which is actually negated, right? Now we can use this observation and we can go ahead, which means we can write a propositional function for this statement and then negate it and get the answer. That is one way. Or if you can negate this statement directly and if you can write it directly, that is also fine. If it is given that all that glitters, you see, understand this, what they want to say is whatever glitters, not all that glitters is gold, okay, which means every metal that shines is not gold, which means there exists at least one metal which will be shining and which is not gold, right? You can use that statement and get the answer. Okay, let's go step by step. Let me take this observation and negate it and see the answer, and then let me take the other statement as well, how to write this one in other form, and then answer it. Okay, one more thing is, in all the GATE questions what I have observed is they are not talking about the domain. That is very important. They should say what they mean by X, isn't it? And instead of saying that, they are just assuming that we'll assume that it is a universal set. That is what they are assuming. Okay, now just see this. So this question will be answered, or it can be answered only under the assumption that X is representing a metal. Therefore the domain of X is all the metals in the world. Now for example, if you had to write this, all that glitters is gold, then let us say this is X, the domain of it is universal, and then this is glittering metals. Okay, so X is domain of all, this is all metals, and some of the metals are shiny, which means glitters. Okay, now I told you that whenever we have to do something about for every, all, you have to write for every, right? For every X, for every metal. So we should not think about or consider the metals which are not glittering. There will be some metals which will not glitter. They are present outside this set. Therefore for those things we should not worry about it at all. Therefore if it glitters, then only I'll take it. Okay, in case if the metal is not glittering, which means if it is not, if this one turns out to be false, if the metal X does not glitter, then I don't want to do any testing for it. Only thing I want to test is I want to get into this glittering set and I want to see that for every glittering metal here it is gold. Okay, so if the metal glitters, then the metal is gold. Now this will convey the meaning of this particular statement without negation. All that glitters is gold, which means for every metal, if it glitters, then it is gold. So what does it mean? If this happens to be false, if this particular thing happens to be false, when will it be false? If the metal is not glittering, if it is present outside. If this happens to be false, then irrespective of whatever this particular value for that metal is, whether it is gold or not, we don't check it, this entire thing happens to be true, which means all the metals which are outside this set, this particular glittering set, will be continuously be true, right? And in case if it happens to be true, which means if the metal actually glitters, then definitely this should be true. What does it mean? Then only this entire thing will be true, isn't it? If this is true and this is false, then the entire thing will not be true. Therefore this statement will be true only when every glittering metal is gold. In case if you are able to find even one metal which is glittering, and for that one metal if this value happens to be false, then what happens is, in that for all value, you know that for all value is nothing but a conjunction of all the values substituted there. If you are able to find out at least one metal, let us say x1, for which it is glittering and it is not gold, then this value happens to be false. Even if you are able to find such a metal, this entire thing happens to be false. Therefore, if this statement has to be true, right, then every metal which is glittering has to be gold. Understood this? Now, how to answer this one? Negate it. So you take this and you simply apply negation, and I told you how to negate. Whenever you negate, for all will become there exists. Therefore, it is supposed to become there exists x. And how do you want to negate this implication? Whenever you want to negate the implication, try to convert it into using some other logical connector. Like here, though it is implication is there, you connect it using or. So how can I connect it using or? The other way of writing it is, so I will just write it, negation of glitters of x or gold of x. This is other way of writing it. Now we have to negate it, isn't it? See, when I negate this one, negation will be applied for this first, and then the negation will enter inside. Now when I apply negation to for all, it becomes there exists. Now the negation will enter inside, which means this statement, which is nothing but this statement, has to be negated. If you try to negate it, what do you know? There exists a metal x which glitters, negation and negation becomes like this, okay, and which is not gold. Therefore, I think this is the answer. Got it? Now, instead of doing all this, if you can directly know the complement of this statement, why? Because not is applied. If you can find out the complement of this statement, when will this statement be false? All that glitters is gold. When will that statement be false? If you are able to find out a metal, at least one metal, if you are able to find out which glitters and which is not gold, if you are able to find out one such metal, it is enough, isn't it? Now, how can you write it? There exists at least one metal which actually glitters and which is not gold. Other way of writing this statement is, there exists at least one metal which glitters and not gold. That can easily be identified like this. There exists at least one metal which glitters and which is not gold. Got it? Either you can go like this, whatever I told you, or you can go directly, depending on whatever way you are comfortable with. Okay?
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs, universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.